Okay. Homie, I've been...
There's a king that's coming back to save our people. Now, we should be preparing ourselves for the return of our king, not stuck up in these denominations and religions that's destroying our people and destroying our nation.
So when we are in this kingdom and our brother and sister is doing wickedly in this kingdom, we must tell them, look, the world is expecting you to stay docile, to stay stupid.
That's what Christianity teaches our people. Teaches our people to hate one another and love the oppressor. Like, we'll never forgive one another for anything that another brother or sister do to us, but we'll forgive the oppressor in a heartbeat. There's something wrong with that, man.
Imagine living your life as a whole Christian your whole life, and life's good because you're a Christian and Jesus is white and everything's going great, and there's a landslide and the earth opens up and you go downstairs and you walk through this place and you see a black Jesus, man. Why is Jesus Christ black with an afro in the catacombs, man? This predates the Renaissance period.
So when you read the book of Genesis, the trees in the garden with other nations, a leaf, what does a leaf do to a tree? Cover the tree. So Adam took the covering of another nation. What's the covering of another nation? Their culture. So when the Most High saw him and said, yo, Adam, where are you, man? Why are you? Don't mean I can't find you. He means like, who is this nigga, man? Like, where are you, man? I don't know you.
Okay. So the Ba al Banya Yasha'ala wa Amarath al Hamma wa Aidya Yahau. The Ba means speak. Al, when it's joined with something, so al Banya means what? Unto, right? Excellent. So al when it's joined with something means unto. Banya means children. Yasha'ala is Israel. So unto the children of Israel.
Like, if it's one thing a hoe gonna do, a hoe gonna hold. But you ain't, she can't hold if there's nobody to hold with. And the thing she said at the end, where she said, I went back and I lied to him and he still wouldn't do it. And then she threw up her hands and she said, well, he'll just be a brother. That's what he need.
That's
brothers.
right.
If we have more brothers, hoes like her wouldn't have no outlet.
There was a man in the land of Oz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright.
There you go, the man called Job. I think Job is what, like, afflicted. And that man was perfect and upright, meaning what? You can be perfect, man. Job was a man like everybody else, man. Job wasn't no angel, he didn't come from the heavens, and that man was perfect, meaning what? You can be perfect in the Bible. Being perfect is in the Bible.
Had fringes on my coattail way before Jimmy. Funny how the general ain't even see a penny. Better show respect, get smoked like a chimney. Keep my name out your mouth, don't even think it. Send a real Smith at y'all, know Jada Pinkett. Both ball heads, my grain above 50. Lost my man to the game, that pain that stuck with me. Had to find a cheat code to the street though, cause them niggas getting foul, shoot you like a free throw. Keep spitting acid like a Mino, and the nigga be the nicest with a mean flow.
Alright, Shalom Israel, this is the ISUPK starting out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. Since 1969, we've been teaching that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Jews according to the Bible. The Jews ain't no Jewish man that's in the land right now, that's fighting for the land, fighting Palestine for land that's not even theirs. The Bible speaks about the owners of that land, and it speaks in grave detail who they are. And they're not just anyone. It's not just anyone. People like to say you can be a spiritual Israelite. The Bible says differently. Today we're going to be going into pagan gift giving is not brotherly. So if you're celebrating these things like Christmas and birthdays and Thanksgiving, when you're giving these gifts, anything like that, it's not brotherly because it's not of the Lord. Because if you're giving someone gifts in vain, or giving someone gifts in a nothingness religion or a nothingness belief, then that gift shouldn't be taken as a great thing. If you get a gift, it's supposed to be at a time whenever. It's supposed to be at any time. You can give a gift at any time. That doesn't make it. It doesn't make it special. The thing that makes it special is if it was thought out. If it's thought out, a gift is special. Now, you're supposed to be grateful for any gift you get, obviously. But if you're getting a gift for your birthday, if you think about it, it's like the only time that person thought to care about you is your birthday. The only time that person thought to care about you is when the white man told him to care about you. The only time your parents thought to care about you is that Christmas gift that they got you. And your parents scrambling around every shop for that Christmas gift. Christmas gift is not brotherly. That Christmas gift is to a false idol. It's to the Christmas gift means nothing because it was given under a false pretense of the Bible. Go into. Can you get me Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2 to 5?
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2.
2 verse 5, Salakia.
Oh, Jeremiah 2, verse 5. Salakia. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vanity. Vain, Salakia.
Salakia, read that again.
Thus saith the Lord, what iniquity have your fathers found in me?
Are you reading Jeremiah 10 and 2?
I had 10 and 2 first, and you told me 2 and 5. 2.
Salakia 10, chapter 10, verse 2 to 5.
That's what I had first. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the ways of the heathen.
So now this is saying, learn not the way of the heathen. If you're doing birthdays and doing Christmas and doing Thanksgiving, all these things, you're following the ways of the heathen. Because if you look back, most of them things will be from Greek origin, or it'll be from Roman origin, or it'll be from before that even Egyptian origin. And none of them people are the role models in the Bible. None of them people are the people that you want to follow according to this Bible. They've never been the role models. They've never been the blueprint of how to follow the laws, because they never followed the laws correctly. They even stared off blacks, Hispanics. They even stared off the Israelites from following the Bible. They've never been the cornerstone. They've never been the leaders. They've never been what you should be according to the Bible, because they've never followed the Bible. Because the Bible wasn't given to them. The Bible isn't for them, so they weren't never following it. So now when we're taking on Thanksgiving, when we're taking on Christmas, when we're taking on birthdays, all these things, then we're following the way of the heathen. And in this verse right here, it says, don't take on their ways. Carry on.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Carry on.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. Verse 3. For the custom of the people are vain.
For the customs of the For the customs of the people are vain. So that the stuff that they're following, the idols that they're praying to, their laws, their beliefs, everything about them, it's in vain. So these Thanksgivings, the Christmases, your Mother's Day, your Father's Day, all of these things are in vain. In vain means it's nothing. They mean nothing to the Lord. All these things that you're following mean nothing to the Lord. Carry on.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. Verse 4. They deck it with silver and with gold.
So like you go to verse 5.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 5. They are upright as a palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born because they cannot go.
Go on,
Be
now this
not
bit.
afraid of them.
So you can't be afraid of these other nations. You can't be afraid to miss out of these fake festivals or any of these, what are they called? Like holidays. You can't be afraid to miss out on these holidays, because all of this is from a people that you're not supposed to be afraid of, that you're not supposed to like look up to these people. You're not supposed to be jealous of these people, because them people, you've got one thing that them people will never have, and that's the laws. God gave you the laws to follow. You should be grateful for that. You should be grateful enough that you're following the laws instead of doing Christmas. You should be grateful enough that on Easter Sunday you're not buying chocolate eggs. That on Easter you ain't buying them chocolate eggs, because you know that them. So like, you're not buying chocolate eggs for your family, because you know them chocolate eggs don't mean anything. Them gifts don't mean anything. Them gifts are fruitless. They're in vain, because it's on a pagan holiday. It's a holiday of the heathen. Carry on.
Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good.
Can't get me. I believe that's talking about making false idols, but I'm going to go to a different scripture. I'm not 100% sure. Can you get me Colossians chapter 2, verse 8?
Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Colossians 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
So in this scripture, it's saying, watch out, because these people are going to try and spoil you with philosophies. They're going to try and spoil you with lies. They're going to try and spoil you with fake gods. They're going to try and spoil you with fake ideologies, with fake beliefs, with fake holidays that aren't in this Bible. Carry on.
After the tradition of men.
After the tradition of what?
After the tradition of men.
So all these Christmases, all these Easters, your Thanksgivings, your white man's Hanukkah, all of them, they're traditions of man. They're traditions of whatever the white man has made up to make blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians follow. Or Eid is whatever the Indians made up. Whatever the Indian man has made up for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to follow. All that, these are traditions of men. You can't be following traditions of men unless it's in this Bible. And this Bible ain't traditions of men. This Bible is traditions that traditions and holidays and feast days that God has given to his people. And we need to be following the holidays that God has given to his people, rather than following your Christmas, rather than hanging up a tree in your house every December and basically bowing down to it, putting your presents under it, giving your kids presents, and getting your kids to bow down to that tree. Because when you get that present is under the tree. You bowing down to that tree when you're picking up them presents. Them ornaments you decorating that, that's false idol. That's idolization of a tree. That's false idols. We shouldn't be doing them things. And all of that is the make of man. The man made that idol for you to bow down to. Carry on.
After the rudiments of the world.
After the rudiments of the world. So now it's after the ideologies of the world, after the belief of the world. So you'll see in the Roman time, people wanted to do something, so what did they do? They'll make up Christmas. They wanted to serve a fake god, so what did they do? They'll make up Easter. They wanted to serve goddesses and all kind of wickedness, so what do? They'll create Mother's Day, and that's rudiments of worlds, because they that's the things that they follow. It's the rudiments of their world, and their world is evil. Their world is not biblical. Their world does not revolve around the Most High, or their world does not revolve around Christ. It's going to say next. Carry on.
And not after Christ.
And not after Christ. So they aren't following the Bible, because all Christ did was follow the law, statutes, and commandments. All Christ did was follow the law, statutes, and commandments, and teach his brothers to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Was unalived on the cross for teaching his brothers to follow the law, statutes, and commandments as a lamb, as a sacrifice to better his people. That's what Christ did. And now these people are going to make you bow down to a tree, not which is not of Christ, which is not of anything biblical. That's positive anyway. It does say about bowing down to wood and stone, and even I believe it says something about bowing down to a tree or wood. But them things aren't biblical. They're not in the laws. They're not of God. So we shouldn't be following them. Like even Christmas, they say is the birth of Christ. If you read in the Bible, Christ was born in the springtime, and Christ never celebrated his birthday. Christ, if you read the Bible, you won't find Christ celebrating his birthday. And because it's not a tradition of our people. So we shouldn't be taking on their traditions, because their traditions is the tradition of man. Their traditions is to make them feel good sometimes. And that's why it's so appealing. That's why birthdays are so appealing, because you feel good on that day. That day is all about you. That day is all about your selfishness and it's all about you. It's your selfishness and your obeying to whatever the white man gives you. You obey and put your hands up and take whatever the white man gives you. And you think it's great. And they give you Christmas and you think you're following the laws, because a lot of Christians don't even know that Christmas ain't. They must not read the Bible. They must not read their Bible. They must have it up in a shelf somewhere and never read it. Because if you read the Bible, you won't see Christmas. I'll tell you what you will see. Get me 1 sec. Get me Exodus chapter 12, verse 1. Exodus chapter 12. Go from there. What did I say? Yeah, Exodus 12.
Exodus, you said, isn't it?
Yeah. Exodus 12 and 14. Wait, Exodus 12 and 11.
Book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 11. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded.
So with your loins girded, if you've seen an ISUPK garment, you'll see they wear a belt that covers their abdomen. That's your loins. Your loins is like your abdomen bits here. So you wear a belt here. So you're going to wear it with your loins girded. Carry on.
Your shoes on your feet.
You're going to wear it with your shoes on your feet. Carry on.
And your staff in your hand.
And when we follow the Passover, we militant. We wearing the garments. We stepping out in boots. We stepping out in holy attire. We following the law, statutes, and commandments. Carry on.
And ye shall eat it in haste.
I believe we were running from someone. However, don't quote me on that. Don't take that as scripture until you get broken down by someone else. Carry on.
It is the Lord's Passover.
And this is the Lord's Passover. So in the Lord's Passover, you're supposed to be wearing your garment. You're supposed to be coming up. You're supposed to be eating the lamb. You're supposed to be eating the unleavened bread. That's a holiday that's in the Bible. That's a feast day that's in the Bible that you're actually supposed to be following. But you'll never see Christmas in the Bible. You'll never see Christmas where it says you got to put up a tree and then you got to put presents under that tree, and then you got to buy stuff for your children and your family and your auntie. Don't forget, now's the time to remember your grandma that's withering away. Now's the only time to remember your grandfather that's in a care home because you don't care about him. Now's the only time to care about them people that you should be caring about your whole life. Now's that time. Christmas one day, but as soon as Christmas finishes, finishes, grandpa's going back in that care home. Grandma's going back with whoever she's with. Grandma's going back in that house by herself. Grandpa's going back in that care home. That's what Christmas and these birthdays make you do. They make you care about that person for one single day. They make you care about that person for one day. Knowing you're supposed to care about that person all year round. You're supposed to care about that person and make sure all your people are okay. Make sure all your people are living good or living well enough. Aren't alone like that. You ain't supposed to be leaving them, especially your father. Your father is supposed to be looked after, because that person looked after your father and mother is supposed to be looked after, Salaki. It says honor your father and mother. You're supposed to honor these people. You ain't supposed to be leaving them in care homes, because that care home don't care about them as much as you could, as much as you should. But you'll take them out that care home for one day to celebrate Christmas, and as soon as that Christmas is gone, you might even not take them out to celebrate it. You might just go into that thingy, and for their birthday and for Easter, all these things, you're supposed to care about them all the year round. You're supposed to care about your family, care about the people that looked after you and helped you while you were growing up. You're supposed to help these people all year round. And Christmas is not in the Bible. You won't see it anywhere in the Bible, but Christmas, but you'll see Christians following Christmas every single year without a miss. Without miss, you'll see Christians following Christmas. You'll see Christians following Easter. You'll see Christians celebrating their birthday. You'll see all of these things, and you will not see a word of them in the Bible, except Easter, which was mistranslated from Passover. And you'll see all them things that aren't in the Bible. They're not in the Bible because they're all traditions of man. All you're doing is following a man. And in the Bible, you ain't supposed to be following a man. You're supposed to be following the Lord. Salaki, you ain't supposed to be following any man but Christ and whoever follows Christ, or anyone who follows the Lord. If man follows the Lord, then obviously you've got to follow him, because you've got to get the knowledge and the breakdowns and all the stuff from the Lord. But you ain't supposed to be following a man that ain't following the Lord. And let me tell you something: the Romans didn't follow the Lord. The Egyptians didn't follow the Lord. What's after Roman, Egyptian, and Europeans don't follow the Lord. And the Greeks, that's what I was looking for. The Greeks didn't follow the Lord. But they'll give you Christmas, and they'll say that's of the Lord. They'll say that's when Christ was born. They'll give you Easter. They'll say that's when, what is it? What's Easter? Christ's resurrection or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Resurrection.
Yeah.
They'll give you Easter. Go on, Salaki.
Yeah. Easter Sunday and all that, innit? He comes back.
Yeah. They'll give you all them things saying it's biblical. Then you actually pick up a Bible and read it, and you'll see Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Memorial of Blowing Trumpets. You'll see all these things. You'll never see a Christmas. You'll never see God celebrating his birthday. Salaki. You never see Jesus celebrating his birthday. You'll never see them doing Easter or what else is there? What's some more pagan holidays that they follow? You got any, Rida?
You don't see them birthdays. We don't
Thanksgiving. I got Thanksgiving, birthdays.
Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas.
They're like the main one. Mother's Day, Father's Day. You got all these. Even all of these they're all traditions of men. You're all worshiping men. Because that present you're giving is you're giving it to a man because you worship another man. You're giving a present to a man or a woman or a child because you worshiping another man. And in this Bible, you ain't supposed to be worshiping no other man. If you read the Bible, God said He's a jealous God. So if you're putting a man as your idol, not even like a God as your idol, you're putting a man as your idol. God is, come on. You better fix up. So now you got to put down these birthdays. You got to whenever someone says happy birthday, you got to say, yeah, thanks, but I don't follow that. I don't believe in that. When someone says Merry Christmas or someone's trying to give you Christmas gifts, you said, yeah, thanks, but yeah, I'm okay. That ain't of the Bible. That ain't what I believe in, because that's not what's real. It's not gonna serve anything. The only thing you're serving is false idols when you're following them pagan traditions, when you're following them Christian traditions. And I say Christian because Christians will follow anything that's against God. You give Christian Satanism, they'll be like, oh, I can put. Well, God was born on this day and then he died, and that's how that holiday comes into place. That's what Christians will do. Christians will make up anything to make you not follow the Lord. They'll make up anything to steer your mind away from the truth. And in the ISUPK, we steer that mind straight back to the truth. We speak the truth, and that's the only thing we speak. Can you get me Leviticus chapter 18, verse 3? And this is back into we shouldn't be following them other nations, because all them other nations do is lie to us. All them other nations do is give us false idols. All them other nations do is give us Allah and say that's God. All them other nations do is paint God white and say that's God. All them other nations lie. All them other nations have so much holes in their theories, in their gods, in their beliefs, because all them other nations are fake. They all have fake ideologies and they all have fake beliefs.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 4.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwell.
Okay, so like you wait there. So after the doings of the land of Egypt, where ye dwelt. So we dwelt in Egypt, as in we lived in Egypt, and we followed after them. We followed after the Egyptians. So the Egyptians were serving false gods. So what's the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians going to do? What's the Israelites going to do? They're going to follow them false gods. Yeah. We followed after the Egyptians. So what are we going to do? They celebrate Christmas. So what we're going to do, we're going to celebrate Christmas. We're going to celebrate Easter. It's the same thing that we're doing now. We're following after the other nations. We're following after their gods. We're taking on their culture. We're taking on. See, whoredom is a big thing in every other nation. It was not a big thing in Israel. But guess what now? Now everyone thinks Jamaicans are all whores. They all think all they want to do is have fun. Now they think all they want to do is dance and wine and stuff like that. All they want to do is that. All they want to do, and they think in Mexicans, they're all whore. The only reason that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians think they are 304s or think it's okay to act out. They think it's okay to follow after them other nations. That's the only reason they're doing it, because they're following them other nations. They see the white woman be a massive 304, and guess what they want to be? They want to follow that white woman in her whoredom. They want to follow that white man in his disgusting fornication, in all the disgusting stuff that he does. That's where you'll get all these the fornication in the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, because we're following after them other nations. We're supposed to be following after the Lord. But instead of putting the Lord first, we put our Bibles down and follow the white man. We put our Bibles down and follow the Asian, the African, the Egyptian. We following all them other nations. All them other nations are natural born whores, especially them white women. Especially them white women, they natural born whores. And they disgusting. We ain't supposed to be following after them, because that's their culture. Their culture is to do anything that's against the Lord. Their culture is to take the children of the Lord out of power. Their culture is to divide and destroy. That's what their culture is. So if they get you being a 304, now God wants to punish you. Guess what? Now you're in chains on a boat, getting shipped all around the world, all because you wanted to be a 304. And that's how. Well, that's a summary of how we got into slavery. But we were following the other nations' ideologies and their beliefs and their customs, and that's how we went into slavery. And even now, we still in slavery. People think slavery is over. We still in slavery. You have to go to the white man to buy a house. You have to go to the Asian man to buy a house. All these things you have to go through other nations, and that's not how you build your nation. Even now, if you want to build a nation, you have to be ready to be spending more for your brothers. If you want to build a nation, you'll see Asians built nation in England. England is not their country, and they built nations in there because they spending inside each other. They spend into each other, even if it's a tiny bit more expensive or a bit more of a hassle to get to. They still spending in each other. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians don't spend in each other. They go for the cheapest option, or they go for whatever the white man says to do. And that's to our detriment. And that's why we follow Christmas, because we follow whatever the white man says to do. That's why we follow Easter, because we're following whatever the white man says to do. If the white man said jump, certain black people would say how high, what day. They'll say they'll just jump. And that's what we do to them other nations. We just blindly follow, and we need to change that. We need to be following the law, statutes, and commandments rather than blindly following the tradition of man. And we were following the traditions of Egypt where we dwelt because we were in Egypt at the time. Carry on.
Shall ye not do? And after the doing of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, shall you not do? Neither
So now it's saying the land of the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan. All these things we were taking on their beliefs, because as you know, the Israelites were scattered abroad and all that, and they were following the Gentiles. They were following the other nations, and God said, after the doings of them lands, it says, you shall not do. So you don't do their doings. Carry on.
Neither shall you walk in their ordinances.
Neither shall you walk in their ordinances. So you ain't supposed to be bowing down to their gods. You ain't supposed to be taking on their customs. You're not supposed to be like marriage proposals. Marriage proposals are of the Edomite. When you going down the aisle and getting married, that's of the Edomites. It's not our culture. It's not our culture to wear a white dress and go down the aisle. No, it's not unlawful to get married. It's not our culture to sleep around before you're married. And now when you get that certificate to say you're married. In the Bible, where our culture is found, where our culture is held, where Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are supposed to follow, it says that sex is marriage. Now, instead of sleeping around before you get married, you know that the first woman you sleep with or the first man you sleep with, and for a man, it's however many wives you have, whoever you sleep with, they're your wife for life. That means you can't put them away unless obviously fornication or stuff like that. But you can't put that woman away, or you can't put that man away. That man is with you for life. Now, what that does is that negates whoredom, that negates sleeping around, that negates the spread of diseases, that negates all them things that are disgusting to do with sleeping around. And it makes a society that is actually built on family values, because family values are very important. Because if you don't have a mother and father in the house, you're likely to be messed up. If you read the statistics, I know it's very unfavorable of single parent households. So if we realize that once you sleep with a woman, that's your wife, then one will be very more particular on who you sleep with, and also you'll what was I going to say? Oh, and also if you have a child with that woman, you're ready to bear the responsibility of having a child with that woman, taking care of that woman and the child. Where was I going? Read that again, Salakia.
You shall do you shall do my judgment and keep my ordinances and walk therein. I am the Lord. Oh, Salakia, I read at the wrong place. I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
Yeah, so neither shall you walk in their ordinances. So we ain't supposed to be following them other nations. Carry on, go to 4. Let's see.
Verse 4. Ye shall do my judgment.
So now God's saying, Salaki way there. God's saying, don't be following Christmas, don't be following Easter, don't be following birthdays. He says, do his judgments. You do his judgments. You follow his laws. So if now you're supposed to follow the law of the land, unless it coincides with the law. You follow the law over the Lord, or the Lord over the laws of the land. And you got to do God's judgments over everyone else. Carry on.
And keep my ordinances.
So whatever God ordained to be holy, so the Passover, all the feast days, all the laws, you got to keep them. You got to follow them. Carry on.
To walk therein. I am the Lord your God.
And you got to follow that. You got to walk therein. You got to follow them laws, statutes, and commandments, and you got to live life following them laws, statutes, and commandments. If you know you ain't supposed to be eating pork, you're supposed to live life, not eating pork. If you know you ain't supposed to be eating crab, shrimp, lobster. If you know you ain't supposed to be following Easter, if you know you ain't supposed to be following birthdays, you follow in the footsteps of Christ, because Christ never did any of them things. Why? Because Christ knew that they're traditions of man. They're traditions of man, and if you follow them, you're following other nations. All you want to do is be like other nations. These nations were not given the laws. These nations are not a special people. These nations weren't given the laws by God. God didn't ordain them to be his people. God says Israel is the only people that he's known. And you want to be like the Hamite, and you want to be like the Moabite, and you want to be like and you want to be like an Edomite. You want to follow them other nations. But the Lord separated you from them other nations, and you're trying to be like them. You're doing the opposite of what the Lord said to do. You're doing the opposite of what the Lord wants. The Lord said, separate from them my people, and you going ahead and joining them. You building their army by joining them. Every time you go to that Christian church, you building their army. You building their ideology. You working for them. And you ain't working for the Lord unless you're in these classes and you're actually learning about the Lord and you following the law, statutes, and commandments. And you come into these Passovers, you attending these feast of dedication, you attending these holy convocations. That's what the word that I was looking for. You attending these holy convocations because these are actual things that God ordained. And you shouldn't be looking into other nations for God's ordinance because of them laws or any of the feast days to the other nations to follow. If you read in the Bible, it says, "Don't let the strangers into your feast days." It's talking about the other. It's talking about the other nations. You ain't supposed to be letting strangers into your feast days because that feast day is special to your people. That feast day is for God's chosen people. Get me 1 John chapter 2, verse 15 to 17.
Book of
You're gonna have to, as soon as you read the first line, stop.
Verse 15. Love not the world,
Carry on.
neither the things that are in the world.
So now Christians love to say, "For God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son." Now in this verse right here, which is in the same, it's the same John. What the? It's the same John. It's the same person that's saying it. It says, "Love not the world." So Christians love to say, "For God so loved the world, He gave His only Son." And now this is someone saying, "Don't love the world, nor the things that are in it." So don't love the world. So does that mean don't love everyone? Does that mean hate everyone? Don't love everyone. Don't love your people. Don't love the other nations. Don't love anyone. No, what it's saying is don't love the world. So don't love them other nations. Don't love the world. So don't love the white man. Don't be loving into their ideologies. Don't be loving into their beliefs. Don't be loving into their world. Because we have our world, and our world is holy. So you can't be loving into their world. You can't be taking on their birthdays. You can't be taking on their Christmases. You can't be taking on your Mother's Day. You can't be taking on them things, because that is their world. So it says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world." So don't be so now it's talking about don't be taking on their beliefs. Don't be taking on their Christianity. When you hear Christianity, that's their world. When you hear Islam, that's their world. When you hear Buddhism, when you hear Rastafarianism, that's their world. We ain't supposed to be fearing their world. We're not supposed to be following their world, or leaders, or rulers, or gods, or whatever they think. We ain't supposed to be following that. Carry on.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
So now God's saying, if any man love the world, if any man love their world, if any man love the things that they believe, and they're going to push Christianity so hard, and they're going to push Islam so hard, and they're going to push all these sins so hard, push down on Christianity, push down on birthdays, saying birthdays ain't that bad. Christmas ain't that bad. Just have fun. Christmas ain't that bad. Just have fun. All these things are a love for them other nations. It's love for their world. It's love for the Edomites. It's love for the Hamites. It's love for the Moabites. It's love for all them other nations. But as soon as that love's come to loving the Lord, as soon as you try come to loving the Lord, it says the love of the Father is not in him. The Father don't love the Father, because you're following into their nations. Like if you had a father right now and you're gonna follow someone else's father, you don't love your father. You're gonna follow someone else's father. Your father says, "Don't come out, don't go out," and you're gonna say, "But Tim's dad said I could." Your father's gonna be like, "What? Tim's dad is not me." God says, "Them other nations are not me." Your father gave you rules, regulations to follow. You follow them rules, regulations. Carry on. Wait, what did I say? To 17. Yeah, come on, carry on.
Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
So now, so now you know it's talking about ungodly things, because it's talking about the lust of the flesh. So if you lusting after whores or whatever, if you lusting after sin, if you lusting after fake gods, if you lusting after fake ideologies, carry on.
And the lust of the eyes.
So you like what you see, you loving what you seeing in these other nations. You loving the Christmas tree, you loving the decorations, the ornaments, and you're like, "Oh, this is great. This is great. Why can't we do this?" You lusting after that false god. You lusting after them false ideologies. Carry on.
And the pride of life.
Carry on.
Is not of the Father, but
all of them things that you're all them things that you're lusting after, and you have pride over following Christmas. You know about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They follow every holiday that they follow with max energy. They do Christmas better than they do Thanksgiving better than every white man. They must like jerk the turkey. They they doing everything above what them Edomites do. They push. They following that holiday with pride. They following the Edomites with pride. They doing it better as best as they can. And it says all them things that you're pushing, that you're doing so great, they're not of the Father. You shouldn't even care about them because they're not of the Father. You should say Christmas. I don't care. That's not my tradition. My fathers didn't do that. My forefathers that fought for my life, that fought so I could live, that followed these laws, statutes, and commandments. They didn't do that, and they lived good lives. They lived, and they didn't have to see their brothers getting unalived at a mass rate by the white police, by Edomites. They lived their good life, and I want to live a life like that. I want my kingdom. You should want your kingdom. You should want your people to rule, because Asians want their people to rule. They've got a whole country. White people have many countries all around the world. You'll see Indians, they got their countries. Hamites, they got their countries. But blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we ain't got our countries. We live in the white man's country. We live in the Spanish, French, or English countries who have been colonized. And all these things, and then we still following after their beliefs. Through all the things that we've been through a whole slavery, and we're still following after their beliefs. We're still following their gods, even though all they've tried to do since they met us is destroy us. The only thought in their mind was to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, to destroy and conquer. And you think now they give you Christmas that they love you. You think now that they give you Christianity that they love you and they want the best for you. They want to destroy you. Christianity is a very easy way to destroy you. Christmas is an easy way to destroy you, because if they keep you away from the Lord, then you won't be following the Bible. The Lord says, keep my commandments and live. And you not following his commandment. Instead, you want to follow the white man. Instead, you want to love Christmas so much. You want to fear your parents so much that you can't put away Christmas. You want to fear your family so much that you can't say, "No, I don't want to do Christmas. No, I don't want to go to church." You're supposed to fear the Father more than you fear your father, if your father's in sin. So all these things is not of the Father. Carry on.
But is of the world.
So if you follow in Christianity, if you follow in Catholicism, if you follow in Muslims, if you follow in Buddhism, all these things, anything that they follow is of the world. And you ain't supposed to, and it says love not the world. Don't love them things. Don't lust after them things. Don't even be jealous of them things. When someone's celebrating Christmas, you're like, "Oh, I wish I could do that. I wish my father got presents for me." Forget that. Because that is all nothing. That's all that religion, all that belief, all them presents are all in vain. And they're not going to lead to a kingdom. They're not going to lead to your people getting better. They're going to lead to the destruction of your people. Carry on.
Verse 17. And the world passeth away.
So wait there. And the world passes away. So now, how can the world pass away? Is this talking about the whole destruction of the planet? Is this talking about the world getting crushed, or a meteor hitting it and the world blowing up and no one else there? This is talking about the world passing away. This is talking about a rulership passing away. So the white man is in his first world country. There's other nations that are in their third world countries. And I don't know if there's second world or developing countries. All of these are worlds. They're all world. England is a world. America is a world. All these things are going to pass away. Their world is going to pass away. And the Lord is going to put his people in rulership. And so you shouldn't be lusting after the things of this world, because the Lord is going to make the things of this world disappear. Make the people of this world disappear. Carry on.
And the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God.
He that doeth the will of God. So he that's in class, learning the Bible, teaching the Bible, out on the streets, teaching. Or if you're a sister, you're gonna be cooking for the brothers. You're gonna be making garments for the brothers. You're gonna be helping out the brothers so that they can follow the Lord to the greatest capacity, as much as they can. And that's how you follow the Lord. You don't follow the Lord by doing Christmas. You don't follow the Lord by doing Easter and buying your chocolate eggs. You don't follow the Lord by praising your by worshiping your child when you're doing birthdays. You don't follow. That's not how you follow the Lord. You follow the Lord by following the Lord's statutes and commandments in the Bible. The Bible is a very simple book. If you need the breakdown, the ISUPK's got the breakdown. You go to the ISUPK.
Right.
Is that's 17 in it?
But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
So he that does the will of God abideth forever. So he's in eternal life. Get me Exodus 23:2. Now this again, going into following, you'll see many scriptures. Damn, my throat's dry. You'll see many scriptures about not following the other nations. Because if you follow the other nations, if you take on their beliefs, if you take on their ideologies, what happens Radar, do you know what the word holy means?
Holy means to be separate.
To be separate. So if you're taking on their ideologies, if you're taking on their Christmas, if you're taking on their perpetual sin against the Lord, if you're taking on all these things, you don't become separate. You become just like the Edomite. You become just like the Gentile. That's why in some verses you'll see Israelites being referred to as Gentiles, because they're in the way of the Gentile. They're following the Gentile. They're not holy. They're not separate. They're not steering away from the other nations. There's nothing different about There's nothing different about them and the other nations, because they're following after the other nations instead of following after what they should be following after, which is the Lord and the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
You got that?
Yeah. Book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil.
So now when you following Christmas, you following a multitude to do evil. When you following Easter, you following a multitude to do evil.
Right.
If you joining Christianity and you following that with all your heart, and you in church every Sunday screaming and shouting that the Lord will save you, you following a multitude to do evil. Carry on.
Neither shall thou speak in a cause to decline after many, to wrestle judgment.
So now, neither shall you speak in cause to decline.
Judgment,
Carry on.
Verse 3, neither shall thy countenance a poor man in his cause.
Go on. Go to a different scripture. I don't know the breakdown for that. Get me Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 30 to 31.
Verse 30. Take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them.
So take heed to yourself. So follow after your God. Follow after your people. Your people should be following the Passover. In the Bible, your people followed Passover. You should be there when's the Passover? Whenever the Passover is, you should be there every year. Whenever the Feast of Dedication is, you should dedicate yourself to being at that feast of dedication. You should dedicate yourself to being at the feast of first fruits, to being at these feast days that the Lord ordained. You'll do Christmas every year without miss. And as soon as it comes to keeping the Passover, you want to miss it. As soon as it comes to keeping the Passover, you say you don't have enough money to get to these places. But you put all that money together to get your child a new whatever, to get a new one of them toy cars that are like £100 for no reason. You put your money together to get your child that, but you can't put your money to get to the Passover. You can't put your money to get to where the Lord needs you, to get to where the Lord wants you. But you ain't gonna take heed in yourself. Instead, you're gonna take heed in them other nations, into them other gods. You're gonna take heed into false ideologies. So God says, take heed. The Bible says, take heed in yourself, and be that thou be not snared by following them. So you ain't gonna be punished. You ain't gonna be punished because you're following them. If you following their ideologies, you'll be punished. Carry on. Carry on.
After that, they be destroyed from before thee.
Carry on.
And that they require not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods?
So now, like your way there. So now, they're it's showing that their gods ain't gonna do nothing for them. Their gods don't mean anything because they're not gonna do anything for them. So now the other nation's gonna be like, how did you serve your God? How did you serve your God to where you're in a great place now? How did you serve your God to where your people aren't being destroyed? Because we follow the laws, the one true God. The one true God that's for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The one true God that actually can affect the earth, that actually can affect your life. We follow that one true God, and we follow him to the T. And it says the other nations that after their gods. And then it says, and thou inquire not after their gods. So you ain't praying to their gods. You ain't gonna be praying to Allah that he comes to save you. There's people now that are praying to Allah that he's gonna save them. There's people now that are praying to white Jesus that they're gonna be saved. They're praying to everything but Yahushua. They're praying to everything but the actual being that can actually save you. The only being that can save you is the Most High. And carry on.
Even so will I do likewise.
Carry on. Your mic went quiet. Say that again.
Verse 31. Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord, which he hateth, have they done unto their gods, for even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods.
Okay, so now this is talking about in some beliefs they literally sacrifice their sons and daughters to fake idols, trying to get out of this place, trying to get out of the hell that they were in. They sacrificed their sons and daughters, and if that don't sound like anything the Bible would say. The Bible wouldn't say you sacrifice your son and your daughter to follow God, but them other nations do. Them other nations do, and they'll unalive their babies just so they can be saved. They'll unalive their family so they can be saved. And that's what the heathens do. The heathens will unalive their children to get out of harm's way. Can you get me? Let's get into some holidays. Holidays that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are supposed to be keeping. Get me Feast of First Fruits, Leviticus chapter 23, verse 10 to 11.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 11. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you on the morrow after the
10 to
Sabbath.
11. 10 verse and 11.
Pardon?
Chapter 10 to 11.
Correct.
I mean, verse 10 to 11.
Okay. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them.
Wait there. So it's saying, speak unto the children of Israel. It's not saying speak to every other nation. It's not saying speak to the white man, Indian man, the Moabite, the African man. It's not saying speak to everyone. It's saying speak to the children of Israel. Carry on.
And say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap.
Wait there. So now when we in God's land, when we under God's rulership, carry on.
And shall reap the harvest thereof.
And you getting the goods, you getting the money, you getting the fruits thereof. So whatever the land gives you, whatever God gives you, carry on.
Then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruit of your harvest unto the priests.
Are you supposed to bring your first fruits of the harvest unto your priests when we're in God's land? And when if you're giving something unto God, you're giving it unto the priest. So now when you're giving it to the priests have energy to teach other brothers. The priests have energy to teach the Bible, to govern the land. So that's what your tithes do. Your tithes give the priests money so they can get around the world and they can teach more brothers and get more brothers in the truth. They can get around the world so they can teach more brothers that Christmas is a sin. They get around so they can teach more brothers that you ain't supposed to be following Easter. All Easter is Easter the god of fertility. I think that's Mother's Day. Mother's Day, they teach that you ain't supposed to be following Mother's Day because that's a holiday too. That's
Easter's fertility is what is the Aisha, the one with all the eggs in it, fertility in it, and bunny rabbits and all that nonsense.
Easter is the god of fertility or something like that. I think Mother's Day is this like similar but of a different place. But all them things you following in the ISUPK, we teach you ain't supposed to be following that. So now when you give the Feast of First Fruits, when we're in the land, we're going to be able to teach our brothers. If we're in the land, we following the laws. We're going to be able to govern that place because you need money to govern a place. You can't just the white man in power right now can't just not take taxes. Now he can lower the taxes. He can make the taxes bearable. But he can't not take taxes because you need taxes to run the society. So now if you're giving tithes, the tithes help run a society because you need money to build an economy. Carry on. Going more into the Feast of First Fruits.
And you shall offer that day when ye wave the sheaf and the lamb without blemish.
And go verse 11. Year. You skipped 11.
I skipped. Then I read 11, innit? I'm sure I read 11. But I'll read it again.
Come on.
And ye shall wave the sheaf before the Lord.
So now it says you're gonna give your harvest to the priest, and it says you're gonna wave the sheaf unto the Lord. So when you giving it to the priest, you giving it to the Lord by association. If you're giving it to people that follow the Lord, if you feeding the people that follow the Lord and sustaining them, you sustaining the Lord because the Lord needs these priests. The Lord need these priests to stay full. The Lord needs these priests to stay energized so they can teach the laws, so they can govern their body, so they can build their nation. Carry on.
To be accepted for you on the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it.
And then the morning after the next Sabbath, the priest shall wave it and give it to the Lord. Accept it. Let's go into a next feast. Next feast, let's get the memorial of blowing trumpets. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing trumpets, a holy convocation.
So now this is another holy convocation. If you want to see the holy convocations, if you're a Christian and you don't know that you ain't supposed to be following Christmas, and you want to know the actual holy convocations that you're supposed to be following, first come to the ISUPK, get in your classes, and learn. But you want to go to Leviticus 23, where it breaks down the holy convocations in, I believe it's in order. What we actually supposed to be following this Bible, because you won't see Christmas in this Bible, you won't see Easter in this Bible. Well, you will see Easter, but you won't see it correctly translated as Easter. It's Passover, right, or Pesach in the Hebrew. Get me wait one second. Get me Amos chapter 5, verse 21.
Book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days.
So now this is someone saying, I despise your feast days. Carry on.
And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
So you're supposed to hate their feast days. You're supposed to hate their feast days, despise their feast days, and not smell in their solemn assembly. You ain't supposed even the what's it called? What's the wars, the memorials, any memorials for wars? You're not supposed to be solemn in them memorials for them Edomites, because all them Edomites did is oppress your people. All them Edomites did in them wars is just destroy your people. Because your people fought in them wars also. And you're supposed to obviously memorialize your people. Don't memorialize their people, because their people are not their people aren't memorializing you. If you see the big monument I forgot what it's called now. There's a monument for a war, and you'll see the white one is big with all the white soldiers. And you'll see the one in Brixton that's a tiny black statue, and that's all the black soldiers. Instead of joining them, instead of actually showing or making the same size monument, because they both fought in that war, they both had a fight in that war. They both were unalive for this country, but they didn't get the same size monument because they weren't cared about the same. So the same way their memorial days are for their people, if you're gonna follow their memorial days, at least do it for your people. Do not do it for their people. If you're gonna do that moment of silence, do it for your people. Don't give a flying about the amount of Toms and Bens and Jerrys that were unalived in that war, because them Tom, Bens, and Jerrys wanted your people to unalive, wanted your people to cease breathing. They didn't care about your people.
Right.
So don't smell in their solemn assemblies. Carry on.
Now you offer me burnt offering, and your meat offering, I will not accept them.
So now you giving God these offerings and these they're basically nothing. You giving God your lambs, and you trying to get good on the sin. Says he don't care about that. You following into their ideologies. You still crying for their soldiers. You still crying for their people. Their people destroyed you. Their people is the reason that your grandfather was unalived. Their people is the reason that your people are unalived. They're the reason blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are being oppressed. Carry on.
Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
And as fat as that lamb is, as fat as that chicken is, or whatever you're offering unto the Lord isn't going to take that, because that's not of the Lord. You doing it in reverence to the other nations. Yeah. And the Lord hates you when you following Christmas, when you following Thanksgiving, and you making that big turkey. The Lord hates that. You giving meat, you feeding them other nations. You feeding into their ideologies, you feeding into their beliefs. And the Lord hates that. If you want to feed into the Lord, you get into Passover, you get into classes, you get into street teachings, you get into teaching your brothers how to follow the Lord. That's how you feed the Lord. That's how you raise your nation. Can you get me Isaiah chapter 1 verse 13 to 14?
Book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 13. Bring no man vain oblation. What's that?
So obligation. Salakia, leave that one. Instead, I'm gonna go into the origin of birthdays, because we've not got a lot of time. So birthdays aren't an old thing or anything that's in the Bible. You'll see it's a pagan origin. So it's of origin of them other nations. Present, share screen, share that. So we're gonna go to, that's the wrong one. One sec. Share screen. No, share screen. There. Then we're gonna go to the origin of birthdays there. And we get ChatGPT up. The OG thing. I can't do that. Radar, can you see that?
Very small.
If I zoom in, could you see that?
Still struggling a bit.
Still small. I'll read it if needs be.
Yeah, I can't really make out what that is, you know.
Can't. I'll read it then. So Egyptians around. So we're going into the origins of birthdays as a cultural practice. Dates back thousands of years and has evolved significantly over time. So if you follow in birthdays, you follow in a cultural practice by them other nations. You follow in a cultural practice that is not of your people. So the ancient Egyptians around 3000 BC, the earliest recorded birthdays were not of ordinary people, but of the pharaohs. When pharaohs were crowned, it was considered their birth as God. So if you follow in birthdays, that you follow in after a belief that when pharaohs were crowned, they were gods. That when these kings of the Africans or kings of Egypt were crowned, they became gods. That's every time you do birthdays, that's what you're doing. You're remembering that time when that pharaoh was crowned as God. You basically, and that whole day is basically crowning yourself God, where you getting gifts from other people, where you getting the praise, where you get the whole day to yourself. You basically crowning yourself as God. And that's what you do when you're following birthdays. You crowning yourself as God. You should think about that when you're doing your next birthday. When your selfish self wants to do that birthday to crown himself over the Most High, try and crown yourself in the same echelon of the Most High. You ain't the same as the Most High. You ain't supposed to be crowned as the Most High is crowned. And it says, and this event was celebrated annually. Like birthdays now, it's celebrated annually. And celebrations were more religious, divine in nature. It says religious and divine here. That is a lie, because ain't no verse in the Bible that you're supposed to celebrate the pharaohs as gods. Ain't no verse in the Bible like you ain't supposed to be celebrating no man as God. Christ is not God. You ain't supposed to be celebrating as he's God. He's the Son of God. You're supposed to be celebrating him as that. So now Christians will bring Christ as God. Even that's basically the same as following birthdays. You against the Lord. You against.
If I may,
Go on.
we read earlier. The Bible said, "Do not follow the ways of Egypt," isn't it? So
can't exactly. These are the Egyptians, and Christians want to put Christ as God, and that's what the Egyptians did to the pharaohs. That's what the Egyptians did. So that's what the Christians carried on. They probably got that from the same place. They probably got that from Egyptians, because everything they follow, they're from Egyptians, Greeks, or Romans more time. Because that's who they are. They are evil people. They're anything but God's people. They want to do everything against the Lord. Anyway, so we got the Egyptians. That's the earliest recorded. So if you following birthdays, you putting yourself as God. If you following birthdays, you remembering that time that a pharaoh was put as God, or that a king was put as God, or trying to be like the Most High, or trying to be the same power as the Most High. Ain't no man can have the power of the Most High, and you ain't supposed to be putting yourself in that position to where you think you have the power of the Most High. Oh. And then now we're going on to the Greeks. So the Greeks adopted the Egyptian idea and added their own twist. So now they have their own twist. They offered a moon-shaped cakes to Artemis, goddess of the moon, and lit candles to make them glow like the moon. A possible origin of birthday cakes with candles. So now you following the Greek pharaohs as God, and you following the goddess of the moon as God. You following these two things when you don't even know that you're following them when you're doing birthdays, and you following them because you following after these other nations. When you take on these other nations things, you'll end up following gods that are no gods. You'll end up following stupid thoughts that a white man came up with, or that a Gentile came up with. You following after their beliefs, after their birthdays, after their Christmases, after their gods. And possible origin of birthday cakes with candles. So now you celebrating that birthday cake and candles, and you don't know that you're this is all to the goddess of the moon. It's not to God, it's to the goddess of the moon. And that's what you're following when you're following birthdays. Now we got the Romans. The Romans were the first to celebrate the birth of the common man, but only men, not to women. So now if you're a woman, you don't even get a birthday. They held public, but anyway, it ain't our thing anyway, because all it is putting yourself as God. You putting yourself as even if it's not God, trying to put yourself as the greatest man on that day. And the Romans were first to celebrate the common man. They held public festivals, for famous citizens, birthdays, and private celebrations for family and friends. The Roman calendar even had its official list of public birthdays. So now this is talking about the famous citizens. If you see, it says there, it's the famous citizens. It's not every citizen. So now they put in their high esteemed citizens over everyone else. They put in their highest, the greatest people. They'll put the kings there. And it's the same thing that the pharaohs were doing. They were putting the pharaohs as God. The same thing here, where they put in the citizens as God over everyone else. That's what they're trying to do. That's what birthdays as a celebration is. And we ain't supposed to be following them things. We could go into the origin of Radar. Give me a holiday that we ain't supposed to be following.
Could go to Easter.
Easter. Origin of Easter. Let's edit this. Origin of Easter. So now you're gonna see the god of fertility at play. You're gonna see the god that is no god at play. The origin of Easter is a blend of Christian, Jewish, and pagan traditions. That's all it is. Christians which don't follow the Bible, Jewish people which wish they were Jews and wish they could follow the Bible, and pagan traditions. Three things you're following if you're following after these other nations. If you follow in Easter, you follow in three pagan traditions. Christian origins. Easter is primarily Christian holiday celebrating the resurrection of Christ, described in the New Testament. According to the Bible, Jesus rose up from the dead day, which occurred around the Passover. So they follow Easter because apparently it occurred around the Passover. That's where you'll see Easter in the Bible. You'll see it's called this word, which is Pesach, which means Passover. So when you follow in Easter, the only reason you're following Easter and it's close to the Passover is because the Edomites said, we follow Easter. How are we going to make this biblical? Oh, the Passover is around this time. Christians said the Passover is around this time. So instead of following the Lord's Passover, let's follow Easter because it's around the same time. Now let's give our children chocolate eggs. Let's give our children what else do they want? I don't even know what Easter does because I don't care about that ish. I don't care about that stuff. But they're giving their children lies. They're feeding their children lies. In the Christian church, they were feeding everyone lies. And that's what they still do to this day. The only reason that Easter's a thing, that Easter is that Easter is so commercialized around that time, it's because the Passover because it was close to the Passover. So they said, close enough, and just put that as a festival or put that as a holiday. And then the resurrection is seen as the cornerstone of Christian faith. It's the cornerstone of Christian faith, and that's how you know Christian faith is a bunch of BS. Because they made Easter because it's around Passover time. They said Easter is a festival that the Lord ordained because it's around Passover time. That is evil. That is absolutely evil. You got a bunch of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians thinking that is the resurrection. They think it's of the Bible. They think, yeah, it's the resurrection of Jesus Christ. They even see it in the Bible. They even see the word Easter in the Bible, not knowing that in the Hebrew it's Pesach, which means Passover, and it ain't at the time that the Christians are saying. It ain't on Easter Sunday. It ain't on the day of Easter. I don't even know. Is Easter Sunday and the day of Easter the same thing?
Yeah, Easter Sunday is Easter, isn't it? That's the day. Because remember, you have Good Friday.
I don't remember. No.
So you have Friday. They have Good Friday. That was the day. They say Jesus died, and then he rose on Sunday, innit? How do you get 3 days out? Because Jesus, remember, it says 3 days and 3 nights. How do you get 3 days and 3 nights from Friday to Sunday? It's all
even in Salaki, even in that, they celebrating the unaliving of God, of Jesus, Salaki. They celebrating that he was unalived on that day. That's what it sounds like, because if they celebrating that that's what it sounds like, isn't it? I'm not sure about that. What do you say?
They have Good Friday, and then Easter when they say rose. You get me, on the Sunday. You know what I mean?
Ain't nothing about that in the Bible. Ain't no scripture that says Easter. Let's follow it. Let's give our sons chocolate eggs. Let's give our daughters chocolate eggs. Let's go around finding Easter bunnies, finding chocolate eggs, doing these hunts. Ain't nothing about that in the Bible, so I ain't following it. Ain't nothing about that. Ain't nothing that the Lord ordained that to be a holiday. Now, let me tell you what he did ordain to be a holiday. He ordained the Passover. He said you must follow the Passover. It's a law, commandment. And we want to follow Easter because it's close to the Passover. And we want to follow Easter because Christians said it's close enough to the Passover. That's the reason that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are following Easter, and they don't even know it. The crazy thing is they don't even know that Easter is a pagan holiday because they never thought to question the white man. They never thought to question, oh, let me look up Easter. Easter, pagan holiday, Christianity, and Judaism. They never even thought to look at it. It says, the date of Easter is movable. It's celebrated on the first Sunday of every moon of the... What does it mean by it's movable? Does that mean Christ was unalived on different days? I don't understand that. Anyway, let's go into the Jewish connection. Easter is closely linked to the Passover, which commemorates Israelite celebration. So now this is actual what we... Wait, let me not say that before I end up saying something stupid. The Last Supper that Jesus shared with his disciples is widely considered to be the Passover meal. The timing and symbolism of Easter is tied to Passover. Okay, so now this is talking about the actual Passover. We ain't Jewish, we Jews, we fake Jewish. Even the way they follow it wrong. The crappy unleavened bread that they eat is they follow Passover wrong. And it ain't the way the Lord ordained it to be, and they ain't even the people that the Lord ordained it to. So Jewish people are absolute BS. Now we go into pagan roots. The name Easter, why is it doing that? There. Easter is used in English, German, may come from Eostre and Ostara, a pagan goddess. So now when you celebrate Easter, you celebrating this. You celebrating a pagan goddess of spring fertility. That's why it's a bunny, because a bunny has bare eggs. So like a bunny doesn't have eggs. A bunny has a lot of children. Yeah. And now they somehow made the bunny related to eggs. I don't even know how that makes sense.
Nonsense.
We'll get into it more. Pagan roots. Bede, an 8th century English monk, wrote that the Anglo-Saxons honored Eostre during this time of the year. So now it's talking about Anglo-Saxons, which were more white people, following this goddess or so-called goddess. Symbols like the egg and rabbits are fertility symbols. So all you following is a woman. You following a woman to get the Lord. You following the woman as a god. You following a goddess, a thing that is not God. You following an idol. Every time you celebrating Easter, every time you're celebrating Christmas, every time you're celebrating birthdays, every time you're celebrating Mother's Day, Father's Day, all these other holidays that are supposed to be of the Lord or supposed to be of great origin, of supposed to be meaningful, all this stuff is of pagan origin. All this stuff is of other nations. We are not supposed to take on their ideologies. Let me get that. Let me find that scripture again. Read to me Leviticus 18:3. I think it was that one. No, it's not that one. 1 second, let me find it. Da, 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 da. Did I what? It says something. Envy not their ways. No, love not that.
The oppressor, is it that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Not thy.
Is that in there?
Follow not thy ways. Walk. I might have to paraphrase it if I can't find it. Thou shalt remember that. Cast, I'm not polluted, not. Is not thy strength unto me, thy ways. Anyway, to paraphrase, because I'm going to end the class in a second. To paraphrase, it says, "Love not the way of the heathen, and follow none of their ways." That's the paraphrase. I'm not sure if it's like that.
Oh, that's
I'm not sure.
Salaka, if it's that one you want, that's Jeremiah chapter 10, isn't it? That is.
Can you get that then? Jeremiah 10. Do you know what the verse is?
Verse 1. I think it's the beginning, verse 1. Jeremiah 10. Sounds like that's what he's trying to say. I'm sure that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, Jeremiah 10 verse 2. We did read it.
Yeah, we did read it, yeah. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
So now this whole class was about learning not the way of the heathen. If you putting away these pagan gift giving holidays, as it says in the title, because Christmas is a pagan gift giving holiday. Thanksgiving is a pagan gift giving holiday. Birthdays. That was what I was mainly after. But all them other holidays that are bunched in with Christianity, that are bunched in with even bunched in with England, bunched in with America, bunched in with these Gentile countries. It says, learn not the way of the heathen. Do not follow their ways. I had a lisp there. Do not follow their ways. And learn not their ways. Don't follow their Christmas. Don't follow their Easter. What was I going to say? Carry on.
Another one, Khan. And be not dismayed at their signs of heaven.
And don't be dismayed when Christ comes to destroy them. So that's the end of the class. Radar, do you have anything to add?
Nah.
So you better stay away from the Christmas days. You better stay away from them birthdays. You better stay away from them pagan festivals. And if you don't know if it's a pagan festival, I'm gonna give the advice I always give. You better go to the ISUPK and learn if it's a pagan festival. You better go to you better look at the origin of these words, the origin of the things that you're celebrating. And when you see pagan, or you see Christian, or you see Roman, or you see whatever that is not in the Bible, if your holiday is not backed up in the Bible, I just advise you don't follow it, because it's not of your people. You don't need to follow birthdays. You don't need to follow Christmas. However, it's widely adopted, so you want to follow it. The Lord says, follow not in the way of the heathen. And that's what we're supposed to do. And that's how we're supposed to live as Israelites, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, to be a holy people, to be separate to every other nation. And with that, I'm going to say, Shalom, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatah to all the brothers, and Yahweh Shema Al Athar, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai to all the sick, to all the sisters. Shalom.
Sure.